These are your evening headlines for October 2nd, 2025, right here on BYU-Idaho Radio. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Jill Clary. The Rexburg Counseling and Eating Disorder Center is a brand new center that recently branched off from Integrated Counseling and Wellness, another mental health center here in Rexburg. Open since February, the new Rexburg Eating Disorder Center is the only facility in southeastern Idaho specializing in the treatment of eating disorders. They do one-on-one therapy with all types of people. Danielle Peterson, a certified eating disorder specialist and licensed clinical social worker, says the need for their services is going up.
We get full pretty quickly, but the nice thing about working so close to BYU-I is that we have students. It's definitely a need, and unfortunately, eating disorders are on the rise because of our culture.
Peterson says the center has a partnership with the BYU-Idaho Student Health Center, which their owner, Liz Stephenson, has helped facilitate.
They're unfortunately not equipped to deal with eating disorders because there's a lot that goes into it. So she's like, refer them, please talk to me, ask me questions. The health center will send people to us. They also will ask us questions in case they have misinformation or need more information so that they are more readily available to diagnose an eating disorder.
It's extremely important to be aware of everything that goes into diagnosing an eating disorder, Peterson says, as well as prevent further harm.
So with eating disorders, you have to be very aware of the medical, nutritional side because it's not just a mental health disorder. It's actually, eating disorders are the second leading cause of death among any mental health disorders, and that's secondary only to opioid use disorder.
For anyone struggling with eating or any other mental health disorders, Peterson urges them to contact the center for help.
Mostly, if you're realizing something is going on, chances are something is. Try to get help as early as possible.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to reach out for help because you throw a stone outside and you're going to hit someone who has mental health struggles. You're not alone.
To learn more about the Rexburg Counseling and Eating Disorder Center or to make an appointment, contact the center at 208-649-8300 for a free 15-minute consultation. To listen to our interview with Danielle Peterson, follow the BYU-Idaho Radio podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Elder David A. Bednar of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints visited survivors of the shooting and fire in Grand Blanc, Michigan. The shooting and fire happened on Sunday at a Latter-day Saint chapel and claimed the lives of 4 victims. When police responded, they returned fire and killed the 40-year-old suspect. Elder Bednar says he hasn't detected any bitterness among the survivors.
In the midst of this horrible event, what I've seen are faithful Latter-day Saints following the admonition of President Nelson to be peacemakers in how they respond to this episode and how they support and serve each other.
Elder Bednar visited the remains of the destroyed chapel on Tuesday afternoon with his wife Susan and Elder Alan D. Haney and his wife Deborah. They also visited members recovering in local hospitals from injuries they received in the attack.
There's nothing that can be said. There's no sermon in and of itself that will have much of an effect. So what I tried to do was invite the Holy Ghost to bring to each individual, to each family, that portion that was needful for them. I testified of Christ. I spoke of Christ. But I hope they weren't listening to what I said. I hope they were being tutored by the Holy Ghost and receiving individually that portion that was needful for each individual.
The members of the Grand Blanc ward had just started their meeting when the suspect crashed into the building and started shooting. At some point, he also started the church on fire. The FBI is now investigating. Monday marks the beginning of Spirit Week for BYU-Idaho, and this year is set to be one for the books. Student reporter Alex Batman has the story.
Next week is Spirit Week for BYU-Idaho, and this semester, the event is celebrating the 25th year anniversary of the decision to make Ricks College a 4-year university. The theme for the week is A Steady Upward Course, named after the 2001 devotional given by former BYU-Idaho President Henry B. Eyring. Eyring's devotional states, "Each of us can follow the example we have seen here. We can follow a steady upward course in a world of change without fear, welcoming the opportunities." Sophia Miller is a student employee helping to organize Spirit Week this semester.
Well, Spirit Week is just a chance to kind of celebrate BYU-Idaho, especially in the fall semester.
The week-long event will be chock full of activities for students, such as a rodeo, parade, and drone show, along with some new activities.
Soapbox racing is the first time ever we're bringing that to campus. Think of it like a big Pinewood Derby. We're going to race these carts that people customize down Center Street, so that's going to be a ton of fun.
McKenna Jones, Spirit Week director, says soapbox racing won't be the only new addition to Spirit Week this semester.
This is also the first time skydivers coming to campus. They're going to make it kind of like a special appearance in our torch lighting ceremony with some BYU-Idaho flags.
Jones says the drone show is a unifying experience.
Watching that drone show, I don't know what it does, but it makes me feel like I belong, like on campus.
Spirit Week activities kick off on Monday at 10 a.m. at the Taylor Quad. For more information on the week's events and activities, visit the school's webpage at byui.edu/spirit-week. For BYU-Idaho Radio, I'm Alex Batman.
These have been your BYU-Idaho Radio evening headlines for October 2nd, 2025. Thanks for tuning in. More news, interviews, and great content are available on our podcast feed. Search for BYU-Idaho Radio on your favorite podcast apps. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and more. For BYU-Idaho Radio, I'm Jill Clary.